right there. Let's see. Okay. Right. So to everyone I'm speaking to, we just finished our second to last meet of the season. Successful Southern Region Championship. We won it. Pretty awesome. I think that's coach's third in a row. And so our coach is who I'm going to be talking to, or talking about during this speech, and kind of like what he's brought into my life as not just a coach but a mentor, right? So for many of us on this team, myself included, I feel like this is the first team I've been a part of where I'm so close to people. You know what I mean? I've never had a brother, but I feel like you guys are my brothers in a way. I got like that brotherly love for you, but yeah, I'm just been really grateful to have this opportunity. And I can't say that I would have had this opportunity if it wasn't for Coach, right? And I think that's the same for a lot of us on this team. Coach really takes steps to, reach out to us, get not only get us on this team, but to coach us together so that we can build those bonds between each other. Because he can't force us to do that, right? So that's on us. But he does a good job of providing the opportunity for us to do that within ourselves, right? So I've known Coach since the summer, going into my high school freshman year. He calls me up on the phone. He's like, "Hey Heston, you just finished 8th grade year. I'm excited for you to come run cross country with us. And at this point it's 2020, right? So middle of COVID, pretty brutal as far as having a team sport goes. And we were both feeling that. I don't remember much from the call, but I do remember telling him how I planned to play football instead, and that's what I did. But I also remember us talking about how we really missed what we loved most in life, and that at that point I thought it was competing, right? And we talked about that a little bit, and that's something I remember from that, right? So long story short, with football, I ended up getting injured, ended up going into track season, pretty disappointing track season. But as my coach, one thing he did was never give up on me, right? I've had my fair share of disappointing seasons throughout high school and college. But through that, looking back, I can definitely see how he's always been there. If not directly, then indirectly, giving me my space to really develop that, one season doesn't make you, and there's more to running than, just times and everything, right? So, going into college, I didn't even know if I wanted to run anymore. After some tough seasons, right? But I knew that he had transferred to be the Lane head coach my junior year, right? And so that was always an opportunity for me to run again. So again, he calls me out of the blue. This time I can't say, "Hey coach, I'm gonna play football." Right? We don't got a football team at Lane. But I agreed, go to a team meeting, and looking back on it, that's kind of like my commitment to the team somehow. Simple as a phone call. But that's another thing I appreciate about Coach. It's just his willingness to work, and willingness to work with me, even if it seems like it's like maybe less serious. No signing papers or nothing, just a phone call. He loves his phone calls. He does. So I guess just overall, Coach always saw things in me that I haven't seen in myself. And I think that's, what he sees on like our team, for each and every one of us. When I saw myself as a failure, he saw myself as, an opportunity to grow, right? Like a little project, He loves his little projects that he's working on, right? I think that's how he sometimes views us. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. But yeah, I don't know where I'd be without Coach. Christopher Yorgis, that's his name. He's taught me that, I really value people over, a place on the podium, right? I value, time with people than like time in a race. And that, running is an expression of what I love most. I think that's, peace, productivity, and then people, right? People like you guys. So, very grateful for that. Coach had a huge impact on my life. So, thank you, Coach.